So far in our video, we've been working mainly on the upper art and or the jurus of Pentjack Silat. We have upper art and lower art. Lower art is referred to as lankas and or the platform. What you're seeing when I'm standing in front of here is a representation of the geometric design of our lower art platforms. Within the lines are the secrets of Pentjack Silat. What we have here is a triangle, or what we refer to in Silat as the tiga. That is one lanka. We will be introducing footwork of the tiga on this tape. We also have what we call the ponchar itself, which is this huge square that you're seeing that encompasses and embodies all the inner area of the platform. Thirdly, we have the sliwa. The sliwa is represented at the end of the ponchar. It's a square with an X through the center, as you can see. Also, within the inner workings of the ponchar, there are many sliwas. Lastly, we have what we call lanka lima. Lanka lima is represented by the white tape here, which encompasses the triangle and or tiga, and it extends out here with a cross-like motion as represented by the white tape. This represents the footwork patterns of Pentjack Silat. With Addie's assistance, let me explain to you a little more in detail upper and lower art and inside-outside line. From a fighting position, Addie were to give me a right punch and I block it. This is construed in Pentjack Silat as the outside line. I'm literally on the outside of her body. This would encompass all the way around this particular area. This is the outside line. If she were to throw me a punch, I am now on the inside line. Anywhere in here, and if she were to like a circular motion, anything inside would be construed as the inside line. Now, in addition to that, she gives me a right punch. I am on the outside line of the upper art, but if you notice the lower art, I'm on the inside line. These references are very valuable in discerning function and the whereabouts of you and your opponent. She punches again. I'm now on the inside line of her upper art and outside line of her lower art. This is constantly happening in interchange of positioning through any and all fights. When demonstrating the jurus to you, literally the physical breakdown of the individual jurus, and then some of the applications, we're showing you the physical aspects of our training. Let me talk about a little bit of concept that supports that physical part. If Addie were to give me a right punch here, what we're doing is we're creating two strong points and two weak points of her positioning. Example, from this position here, she's strong because she has her left foot in the back supporting this line. If I were to pull her, if she was grounded, this is also a strong point. The weak point is to the side. Let me show you that again. Addie steps forward. The weak points then in her body positioning right now are here, which creates the triangle. Here to here, over to here, and then back. There's a triangle on this side. That's a weak point. There's also a triangle, mirror image of that, behind. This is also a weak point. When I was moving her around in some of our demonstrations, she gives me a right punch, and I am here, outside line, upper art, outside line, lower art. Back to our concept of making the way. Simply by tapping her, I'm doing it gentle, just moving the head, she falls. Because that's the weak point. There's no support system. Also, she gives the right punch to here. If I were to pull, that's the weak point there. From a neutral position right in the center of the white cross, now her weak points are to the front and to the back. Because her feet are closer together, It's a smaller triangle, but nevertheless it's being represented. This is the weak point. This is the weak point. Addie can take an index finger, because I also have 2 weak points, and move me. That's making the way. Back from her neutral position, as she steps and punches, and I'm here, what we have is weak points here and here. In addition to just the literal translation of her weak points, again please, as she punches, I am not out here, I'm disrupting her base from the beginning, so I'm disrupting it this way. Then when we make the way, we're disrupting in 2 different directions. So in a review, step back please, Addie, wherever you're standing, you have 2 weak points. Whether I'm here, or here, or here, or here, or here, whatever you want to do. It's also interesting, if we were standing on 1 foot, then we have weak points everywhere, thus the ability to disrupt people when they're in a kicking process. Standing on 1 leg, they're weak in all directions. Oftentimes in the striking arts, footwork and lower art are often either misunderstood or just generally neglected. Our platforms and our lankas are the key to develop a whole lower art understanding. Synergistically, you have the lower art platform with the upper art of the jurus, and you have that third animal that creates a very devastating art. A way to develop lower body strength and awareness and flexibility within your hips are what we call Silas, or cross-sit stance. Cross-sit stance have application for combat, but generally at this point I want you to think of it as getting flexibility in your hip flexors and strengthening your lower leg and balance process. Addie will demonstrate some Silas from left to right. Stepping behind, that is the Sila position. Coming up to neutral position, stepping behind, Sila. Addie makes it look simple, and for some of you it may be simple. Others it's going to be a bit more challenging to give that flexibility and strength. Now we can extend that drill into something a little more functional, adding a kick and proper positioning. Stepping behind, rising, kick. You're developing your strength, your balance, your lower art, coming out of a sitting position and or a ground position, attacking with your lower art. Also from here, she was stepping behind on each one of the Silas. You can also, she's going to create a triangle here from this point, and this point. She can do Silas from a stationary position, developing muscle, flexibility, balance. This is also enabling the Silat practitioner to create torque and power for throwing and base disruptions of their opponents, thus the Silat. What I'm going to demonstrate for you now is footwork application on our Tiga. In the hand drews, what we did is we isolated the upper art. Now, we're going to isolate the lower art. Starting position for your Silat stance. This Tiga doesn't fit me exactly. We have over 150 students here at our school. We built a general-sized platform. Those of you who own schools, you'll understand that. My left foot is pointed out to the side, along the base of the triangle here, using that as a base. My right foot as if I'm going to start my drews. We will get to that in a moment. Stepping straight forward, shoulders square here. This is the basic position or fighting position on your Tiga or triangle. What we're going to do now is what we call a Kuda or Kuda foot replacement exercise. Bring the foot up, switch. Foot up, switch. We can also change direction. Now move to the here. Kuda. Let me give you a demonstration of a possible function of a Kuda. Addy, please. From my positioning here, my opponent comes up, fighting stance. Perhaps they want to blow out my lead leg with a kick. I'm here. There is your Kuda position. We can return the favor. Let us show you that again. What's happening? This triangle follows you everywhere, by the way. Everywhere I move, there's triangles. Everywhere we move, there's the panchar. Once you understand these basic concepts, you'll always know where your weak and strong points are, and the patterns follow you. For demonstrative purposes, we're specifically on the template or the triangle so you can understand it. Addy comes at me, replacement step there, boom, I can return the favor. Using our tiga, let's move on to the sapu. Sapu translates in English to inside sweep. The motions are exaggerated to work on balance, reach, extension, and function. They may be shortened or altered as the situation calls for. Same beginning position here. Short Kuda to here. My right foot is going to extend out, almost as if we had a compass. My left foot is the needle, my right foot is the pencil. From here, I reach out, going past that point, sweeping up and back, turning my body, working on balance, stepping forward to here. Once again, sapu, or inside sweep. They'll be referred to as either here and set. To continue this on the right side, I can interchange the Kuda, putting me in this position, left foot lead, different direction, sapu, set. I'm altering the Kudas a little bit for you to show you the different variations. Sapu, Kuda. Sapu, Kuda. Sapu, set. Sapu, Kuda. Sapu, Kuda. Let's take a look at the sapu and its function with my partner Addy. Using the tiga as a template, right foot's forward. I'm going to do the Kuda step position that you've already been through in conjunction and follow up with the sapu. From a fighting position, we're going to do this slow. I would be here. I'm not really worried about where my upper arm is right now for purposes so you can watch my feet. Slowly, as Addy were to kick my leg, I'm drawing back to here. Kuda position. Now extending out, the compass-like action. I'm going to sweep out to here, grabbing her foot, pulling it for the takedown, and whatever follow-up we want. Now, with a little more speed, safety and consideration here. She comes at me, I switch, she's going down, I'm going to stomp from there. We'll now work on what we call the beset, or back sweep. I'm going to put in the Kuda switch foot position to help it flow around our triangle. Right lead, stepping forward to here. My right foot is moving along this line. I want you to visualize as we go a person right here who I am sweeping down. Beginning position, right lead, Kuda. sweep. Kuda into a back sweep. That is your beginning beset drill done on the lower arc platform called the Tiga. Using Addie as my partner and the Tiga for a template to give a demonstration of the function of a beset. She's going to move in and give me a right punch. I move to the outside line of her upper art, outside line of her lower art. My right foot passes along the back line of the Tiga. In a quick review of what we've done so far on the Tiga, we did the Kuda replacement step, we did the inside sweep or the sapu, we did the back sweep, which is the beset. We showed some application, and we'll conclude our Tiga work with what we call the Serak turn. From this position here, perhaps I've struck somebody, I drop, extend out, extend to here, and back. Reversing that, perhaps I'm hitting somebody, somebody's coming up from behind me, I'm dropping, extending, and coming out into them. So once again, you can go forward, you can reverse it 180, and we can work around our Tiga. From this position, I drop and I hit. Doing our Kuda replacement step, I could be here, drop, and hit. Kuda, from here, drop, and hit. Kuda, here, drop, and hit. The Serak turn. With Addie and Lloyd's help, we're going to demonstrate for you a possible application of the Serak turn. We'll do it slow, so you can watch for detail. Then we'll speed up just a little bit. Addie were to attack. I am here. I'm sensing somebody behind me, dropping out of the line of fire, turning, returning the favor here. A little quicker. Addie were to attack. Boom, here, and I'm coming up. Application of the Serak turn. In continuance with the flow of the tape, we're now going to synergistically connect the upper art or juru with the lower art, the platform, in this case, the Tiga. So we have jurus for upper art, lankas for lower art. Starting position, I'll take you step by step, working your Tiga, upper and lower art simultaneously. Starting position, Juru 1. We'll go through 1 through 6. Transition, 180-degree turn, Serak turn motion. Drop, extend, back. Now into Juru 2. Sapu, Juru 3. Transition, dropping down, Serak turn into Juru 4. Transition, left foot, but set into Drew 5. Transition, Serak turn, into Drew 6. From the completion of Drew 6, I can come home right from here, start the whole pattern with Drew 1 on the left side, or I can Kuda, go back to power side, repeat the patterns 1 through 6, rotating around our Tiga. Taking a look at the ponchar. The ponchar is like a playground for your imagination. We take the structure of the Tiga and the upper arch structure of the Jurus and put together a rigid, detailed approach. Then we took the Jurus and said to hell with it and just exploded after our opponent. Just let it all hang out. Well, looking at the ponchar, you the individual, using your own creativity, you can come up with your own lines of attack. This ponchar follows you everywhere you go. Wherever you're standing, ponchar supports you. Once an opponent comes into your range of combat, the lines come alive with opportunity for direction of strength and weaknesses, both for your partner, your opponent, opponents, and yourself. The weak and strong lines are indicated. So having some fun, you've now been through the first 6 Jurus. As an example, using the ponchar, I'll move linear. Then let's just shift at a 90-degree angle, and then let's just come back, playing with transitions, extracting motion from Jurus to get creative in our transitional motion. For instance, Juru 1. Now, somebody's attacking me from my left side. Out of number 5, there is a clear. Fine, let's go into Juru 2. Oh, from your point of view now, here comes another attack. Out of number 4. Now, let's go into number 3, making 90-degree directional changes using the ponchar. Using it that way, nice, sharp 90-degree angles. You could also, same 90-degree angles, only we're just going to cut them in half, put them on the 45-degree lines. Here we are on one. Cut it here. Now we're on the perimeter. Cutting back on the 45. Your imagination, your ability to create, your willingness to train hard, have an open mind, taking the fundamentals we've taught you in the Silat concept state, it's your Pentjack. With Lloyd's help, let me demonstrate for you some of the functional applications of the sapu and the beset. Right punch, please. From here, there's kind of an abbreviated sapu. From here, we can step on the foot, trapping our opponent. This way we can upset their balance with minimal or almost no effort. Right punch. From here, on the inside, we can also drop them using our beset. Keep in mind, as we do this, I'm not smashing him first just to say hi, then dump him. We're just trying to isolate mainly a simple entry focusing on the lower arch platform. He gives me a punch here, same thing. There is another sweep. One more time. From inside, I can now create levers with my knee, creating new fulcrums. A little tighter off of that, from here, there's another way of using our footwork to take them down. As I've been told, in Indonesia in the old days, when they would have tournaments and fight, they'd often fight for food. What that meant in some cases is winning tournaments would maybe mean staying alive by being able to give your family food on the table. One of the rules in these tournaments is once you've taken your man to the ground, you have won the bout. Thus, in Pentjack Silat, when you see me drop people and we stop and just sort of, wow, cool sweep, that's really just the beginning of most fights. However, in the Silat line, dropping them was often good enough to win the tournament. Example, Addie gives me a punch from this line. There's the sweep. I must follow up with a knee smash, turning her patella into sand on the concrete in the real world. If she were to give me a punch here, there's my elbow strike. Then I can kick her out differently, then come in and boom, break the arm right along that line. These will help end the fight. As she attacks me, I can just drop her down for finesse purposes. But really, I would have done it with much more energy, smashing her head on the concrete. As she punches, boom. We can also take down in other ways and go into our grappling lines, all using the ponchar, the lines, the footwork, the weak points of our Silat Lanka. I'm going to explain in detail my entry lines of my upper art. The initial position, done slowly, what I'm going to perform for you is what we call a one-step block. Addie gives me a right punch. My left hand is picking it up here. My right hand is coming underneath this motion. Faster, it's this kind of motion. I can hit the temple or anywhere, face, what have you. She gives me a right punch. I can be out here. Now I've opened the hand. I've opened hand here because my range is off. She can only throw one other punch. Once she does that, we can go from there. She gives me a right punch. I like opening the hand because this can be an eye rake. It can be a slap. I got this out of our jurus. I'm here. This is the hand position, slightly modified for the function of it. If Addie were to give me a left punch, I can be out here. This can be similar to a Filipino goon. I can be here. The closer I move in, it can be a hit. It could be a trap. She gives me a right punch. I can also be on this side. This is also where we're coming back, coming home in the juru. Here, then you can go into different motion from there, then integrate the other lankas, which we were talking about. Also, when she gives me a very fast, I like trapping the foot, opening my hands. Now I have a little more control. I've neutralized her left side, and she cannot kick me. Done slowly. If I do this block here, that's feeding right at me. From this position, I can just continue the foot trap, foot sectoring, and help my opponent to the ground. As stated earlier, we're going to rock, smash him, then we're going to get cute. But, once again, one-step block from here. I could also be hitting down here. If the person's tall, I'm not going to reach up for him. She punches. You can also come down and hit it over the top. What I like to use is both simultaneous. And watch how I adjust my body now and use a slightly different variation with the open hand. She punches fast. Boom! Do lots of fun stuff from there. Let's integrate some of our earlier thoughts from the jurus 2 and 3, which were the arm bar takedown from 2 and the song sot from 3, and then let's add Beset to it. You can see how everything starts to tie in. Addie gives me a left wrist grab here. We extracted out of Juru 2 earlier when we were coming back and moving along here. We went over in some detail. From here, doing that motion, now there's our Beset. And to add foot sectoring and trapping with this, I hook right behind her here and take her down. One more time. She grabs me. I take her down. I can just as easily come here first and drop her. So that's putting the Tiga or the Beset footwork and adding it to our Juru 2 concept. Now using the song sot from Juru 3, as well as the idea that the founder of the original system, Serak, had one hand, I'll do it one-handed to represent what he might have been going through by putting my hand in a pocket. So I'll use the song sot from 3 in conjunction with the Beset. She gives me a right punch. I'm here. Come around. Here's my song sot. And now I simply Beset. And there's the takedown. From there, the follow-up is up to you. Most of you that have purchased this tape undoubtedly have martial arts experience. We're not going into front kick, rear kick, fighting stance. You know how to do that. We're asking you to embrace the concepts and some of the general function of Pentjack Silat in our Silat Concepts tapes. We've gone over the Jurus, the upper art, Lankas, the lower art, sweeps, takedowns, platforms, tigas, silas, on and on. How you throw a jab, uppercut, hook, what your foundation is. We're not asking you to throw that or discard that. We're asking you to embrace and add this to what you're already doing. Let's break down some of the other aspects of Silat, and we're going to look at what we call Puder Kapala. Kapala is the skull, and Puder is turning the skull. Let me give you an example. Whatever entry you use, that's up to you. If you're a Wing Chun guy, you might do a Pak Sao punch. If you're a karate guy, you may do a block, punch, or elbow, whatever. What I'm going to do from here, come around, introduce the elbow here. That's my entry. What we're talking about is Puder Kapala, turning the skull, some of the basics of the Silat system. Here, hit. I am now pushing her head down towards the weak point of her triangle. I'm lifting this, that's the rotate, we're going to get rotation of the shoulders. My right hand's going down, my left hand is moving from a left to right or clockwise position, and I simply put her down. Part of the value of Puder Kapala is disorientation of your opponent. You bang him, you spin him, you take him down, whoa, where am I? The whole world kind of spins around. Then you sneak up and whisper something nice into the ear. She gives me a right punch, boom, this is the shot right there. It's already happened. This is the motion. She's gone. From here, we can go into a choke or whatever. Another way of doing this is, from our one-step block on the outside, now let's integrate our song sat that we learned in Juru 3. Up right here, there's the song sat. From here, I'm wrapping around now. This is what I call a reverse Puder Kapala. Driving her head down to the weak point, then rotating around, taking her into here. I now have an arm break. Right punch, boom, hit, come around, take down. We can go different directions from there. Depending upon the entry, she gives me a right punch, and I hit deep. I'm right here on her, driving down, turning her around. Now I've got a dislocation of the shoulder, arm break, different attacks on the body. Some additional points about Puder Kapala. Out of your slow motion, you're going to give me a right punch. I come around to here, say hi, now be strong right there and don't let me push you down. I don't have any really much leverage from here because of the distance away from her. Make note, punch, this, knock the crap out of her. Then this wraps. Also, we can kiss with this knee or this knee on the way through. The usage of all martial arts technique, one thing that needs to be taken into account, well, certainly your intent, number of opponents, and your environment. Puder Kapala can be really functional when you have a stairs to tumble them down. Right punch, please. bumper of a car to say hi to, and on and on. Also included with environment is predicament. Maybe I'm in a bar, maybe I'm in a place, and I'm outnumbered, and I want to get the hell out of here. She gives me a punch, smash, I'll see ya, and I'm running out the door. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, one of the laws of physics. For every attack, there's a counter. For every counter, there's a counter to that. That's why when we enter, attitude, explosiveness, intent, make the way, take their space, blast the shit out of them, then get clever and creative. I'm going to attack Addie. We'll do it slow. She's going to do Puder Kapala on me. I'll show you one example of how to counter the counter. From here, I'm coming around behind, using my shoulder, taking this, dropping her plug off into the mount or whatever. One more example of countering Puder Kapala demonstrated with Lloyd. As I punch him, he blocks, elbows, come around from here, going into my number 5 attitude. There's the drop. That's your counter to Puder Kapala. I hope you've enjoyed our Silat Concepts tape. I'd like to recap for you some of the key elements I would like you to extract. Number 1, the division of upper art being the Juru, lower art, the Lanka. Train them separately and together collectively to give you the synergy you need in your performance in fighting. Also, remember the platform or the Lanka, the Tiga, how to measure it. Make your own template for you. You've probably got other martial arts experience, which I stated earlier. This is not to take you away from that. This is to add to what you already know. The concepts of making the way, wherever you're standing, you're in my space, putting attitude, you'll fight like you train. These are key elements that all martial artists can use. So, in conclusion, I'd like to thank my partner, Addie Hernandez. She is my partner and my friend. I'd like to thank Lloyd Thompson and their hard work and inspiration in making this tape. And thank you, the listening audience. Salamat.
Joseph Simonet began his training in the martial arts during the early 1970s. Already an avid weightlifter and competitive powerlifter, he sought to further develop his physical skills through the study of Japanese karate. In 1973, Simonet began his study of Tracy's Kenpo karate, a style that would have a profound effect on his martial development and his overall perspective on the fighting arts. Though he progressed quickly through the Kenpo ranks and began teaching the art to others, Simonet's open-minded attitude and insatiable thirst for knowledge led him to explore a wide variety of other fighting arts as well. During the early 1980s, Simonet discovered Filipino Kali and Eskrima and Wing Chun Kung Fu. In addition to pursuing the mastery of these arts through formal study, he continued to explore the full spectrum of fighting arts by supplementing his training with seminars in Savat, Tai Chi Chuan, Indonesian Silat, Muay Thai, Arnis, and Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. It was during this time of experimentation and martial discovery that he formulated key fighting concepts, a unique concept-based approach to developing fighting skill that emphasizes the understanding of physical movement and the universal principles common to all martial arts. The 1990s was also a defining period for Mr. Simonet and key fighting concepts. He began the intensive study of the arts of Indonesian Pentjack Silat Tongkat Serak, Yang-style Tai Chi Chuan, and the Dose Pare style of Filipino Eskrima. Based on the profound impact of these systems on his training and personal development, Simonet incorporated many of the fundamental principles of these arts into his expression of key fighting concepts. Unlike some eclectic arts and practitioners who simply pick and choose individual techniques from different fighting arts, Mr. Simonet's background and the key fighting concepts curriculum are based on a thorough mastery of a variety of arts in their traditional forms. To date, Mr. Simonet has earned a 6th degree black belt in Tracy's Kenpo Karate, a 2nd degree black belt in Doce Pares Eskrima, a 2nd degree level in Master Cacoy Cañete's Art of Escrito, a black sash in Wing Chun Gong Fu, a 2nd degree black belt in Pentjack Silat Tongkat Serak, and instructor certification in Yang-style Tai Chi Chuan. The other driving force behind key fighting concepts is Mr. Simonet's protege and business partner, Adi Hernandez. Hernandez has been training full-time since 1994, and to date has earned black belts in Kenpo Karate, Escrito, and Doce Pares Eskrima, and is a certified instructor of Yang-style Tai Chi Chuan. Hernandez is also the only certified black belt in the key fighting concepts curriculum. Joseph Simonet is one of the most insightful and innovative minds in the martial arts world today. He has been featured in numerous magazine and newspaper articles and is a frequent guest on radio talk shows. In addition to Silat concepts, Simonet is also the author of the bestseller The Mukjong Slam Set, a 2-tape video set available from Paladin Press. Mr. Simonet, his assistant Adi Hernandez, and their progressive curriculum at Key Fighting Concepts truly represent a state-of-the-art synthesis of martial arts tradition and practical, effective fighting application. If you want the very best, you'll find